Hey yo, you're from the neighborhood quarter guy here, and what the Grack, YouTube? Yeah, it was unveiled this past week that YouTube has going to be having new terms of service, or rather, having some new enforcement on their old terms of service. Basically, they're going to be demonetizing videos that aren't considered advertiser friendly. Now, their terms of content that's considered not advertiser friendly. Basically, it includes stuff like sexually suggestive content, violence, inappropriate language, drugs, and controversial material. Basically, the kind of stuff you would expect to be in violation of terms of service. But I think one of the big problems with this is how vague it is. It doesn't give any indication how much is too much, and I think that's what kind of concerns me the most about this. It's like we have people who play games on YouTube, who show games on YouTube that are pretty violent, like Mortal Kombat, for example, and people who swear quite a bit. It's like, where is YouTube going to draw the line? It's incredibly vague, and that's what worries me. And where do you draw the line on stuff like controversial topics too, like politics and stuff like that? A lot of the most popular people on YouTube say they drop F-bombs quite a bit, and there's a lot of stuff like fighting games and FPS games we see, so how are they going to be affected? I haven't been affected yet, but part of me worries that I might be affected at some point, and because we don't know where the line's being drawn. And I think that's... I know I'm repeating myself a bit, but it's probably the biggest issue. How far is too far? So it's like some people try to keep things really clean, and I respect them for that. But even people I know who might end up being affected by this. So I know this is probably going to be short, but oh well. Question of the week. Who are you worried about being most affected by the new YouTube policies? As always, leave your answers in the comments. Favorite comments are featured in the next episode. Here are last week's winners. And with that, time for the fourth wall mailbag. As always, send me your questions via YouTube messages. Go to my channel, click the About tab, click the Send Message button, and my favorite questions will be featured on the next episode. First question this week comes from Biggie1724, who asks, who is your favorite JoJo character that is not a Joestar? I would have to say Koichi Hirose from Part 4 Diamond is Unbreakable. To be honest, I can't really go that much into it without spoiling a lot. But I think Koichi had a lot of character development, not only in himself, but not only reflected in his own character, but reflected in the evolution of his stand, Echoes. I refuse to refer to it as Reverb. But yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. If you want to see it for yourself, just watch the anime or read the manga. Also, Speedwagon. Just Speedwagon. Next question comes from Lieutenant Renji Abarai of the 6th Division, who asks, if you had a NetNavi, what would you name it? Well, if I were to base it off my personal personality, I'd call it basically Arcade Man, because of my affinity for arcade games. But to be honest, I would have really liked to see a Battle Network version of Axel from the X series. We got Zero, and, well, I'm kind of mixed on that, Zero, but I'd like to see a net-natty version of Axel, to be honest. Well, I would have, anyway, but the Battle Network series is pretty much closed off, so yeah. Next question from Juan Jose is, of all the fellow Countdown artists you have collaborated with, which ones have been your favorites to work with? Can I just say all of them and leave it at that? Because I've actually really enjoyed making collabs with all the people I've collabed with. Shree's Apprentice, Weedude, Green Scorpion, Maverick, Flamicon. I've actually enjoyed working with all of them, to be honest. Though the only two who are still making countdowns and aren't on hiatus that to speak of are Green Scorpion and Maverick. I really hope Ben can get back into the business someday. I miss his videos, to be honest. Next question comes from Canadian Samurai, who asks, who is your main in King of Fighters 14? Well, considering I've been busy with other stuff, and I've only had the game for a little bit now, I think it's too early for me to have decided on a main yet. And it's not like I'm really competitive anyway. But I'm probably going to have to get a chance with all the characters in the game before I can really establish a main team. Just like any other game. Alright, final question this week comes from Cameron Murphy, who asks, if I could recommend you several BlazBlue fanfiction stories, would you want them?